How's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another Nintendo Switch review of sorts, although this one's going to be a little different, as in this video we're going to be taking another look at the 3 games in the recently released Tero Lunkka Bundle, all of which I've played and produced complete reviews before. So instead I'm going to be doing a quick recap on each of them, and I'll be leaving links to the full reviews of them down in the description box below. As always though, if this video helps you out, drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo Switch content, and let's get started. So first up then we have LawnMower Mortal Race, a quirky little racing game that challenges players to navigate trap-filled levels atop a lawnmower, but unlike its lawnmower riding competitors from Ultimate Games, LawnMower Mortal Race lacks any kind of storyline, focusing purely on the gameplay. Now the main menu of this one entices you in right away with its silence, and as with most Tero Lunkka games, you're greeted with 25 stages that can be tackled in any order you see fit, and this one has you playing as a character who resembles Dryden Mitchell from the band Alien Ant Farm, complete with lines shaved down the centre of his head and everything. But the controls are incredibly simple, including basic acceleration and braking and a handbrake for tight turns. The game's premise is also very straightforward. Race against a 60-second timer whilst avoiding obstacles and attempting to stay on the track as you battle against slippery physics and inconsistent level designs. Along the way you'll encounter a variety of hazards such as spinning buzzsaw blades, bombs and bomb-spitting plants, with some of the levels featuring boosts that often cause more harm than good. But the most challenging aspect of this one is undoubtedly the game's terrain, having a significant impact on driving, with even minor bumps and uneven surfaces frequently derailing progress. Visually, the game mixes low poly and realistic looking assets with little effort to align them, resulting in a visually inconsistent experience, and audio wise the game offers simple sound effects and a random music selection that's unobtrusive. But despite all of its flaws, LawnMower Mortal Race remains one of the most complete titles from this developer, offering a structured experience that, whilst not groundbreaking, provides at least some entertainment, and the developer's efforts are worth acknowledging despite the game's shortcomings. Worth a try in my opinion though, for those seeking a unique, albeit flawed, racing experience. Next up then we have possibly my favourite game so far from Tero Lunkka, and that's saying something considering the majority of them are hot trash. But Gangsta Magic is a game which feels like the product of Harry Potter and Neo from The Matrix getting it on. This one is essentially an action platformer though, and again the main menu gives you the option of playing any of its levels in any order. But drop into any of these levels though, and you'll soon discover that there's no rhyme or reason to them, there's absolutely nothing connecting one to another, and there's no overarching storyline to tie any of them together. But who needs a storyline when you look like this, right? Now, gameplay in Gangsta Magic involves you working your way through each level to an end goal, and along the way you'll be assaulted by a rather limited lineup of nasties, which primarily consist of demonic shadow men and missile-firing drones, as well as the odd puzzle elements which have you dodging your way through giant balls of death which will kill you in a single hit. In order to deal with these nasties though, you have an effective arsenal of skills at your disposal, and I'd say that alongside the flying mechanics, which allow you to take off and land at will to engage in combat both on the ground and in the air, this is where the game really shines. You essentially have 3 spells to play with though, those being fire, ice and lightning, and you're able to switch between these spells, with the fire spells being your primary damage dealing ability, whilst lightning and ice stun and freeze enemies respectively. But each spell also comes with 2 different fire modes, the first being a single shot and the second being a large AoE blast. Finally, you also have a telekinesis ability which allows you to pick up large objects and fling them towards your opponents, and all of these things combined provide you with a versatile lineup of abilities. All in all though, despite its baffling lineup of levels and less than polished gameplay, Gangsta Magic offers an enjoyable enough time thanks to its combat system, and is definitely a high point in this developer's career, which is more than can be said for our next game. From highs to all-time lows then, Soulsland is by no means the worst game I've played on the Switch, but it certainly does very little to make you want to enjoy it. Despite it sounding like it would share something in common with the Souls-like series though, and indeed looking like it would, Soulsland is far from it, and you'll immediately get the sense of what you're in for with this one, as the very first enemy you encounter casually walks off a platform to his death. But the overarching storyline in this one, whilst not present in the game itself, is delivered to us in the eShop description, and we're apparently on a quest to release the captured souls of the hero Lord Barbarous and his family by destroying a magical glass shield and defeating the evil Lord Zidon. Working your way through the game's 14 levels, again in whatever order you see fit, your objective in this one is once again to make your way to an end goal. However, this time round, in addition to your basic cannon fodder blocking the way, you also have the big baddie Zidon to contend with, who frequently guards these end goals, but who can sometimes be skipped entirely. As per Gangsta Magic though, the game's levels are a mishmash of fancy-like landscapes, industrial undergrounds and futuristic laboratories, but as expected there's absolutely nothing to connect these levels to one another, and the developer also seems to have run out of assets at one point, as the level Skyland features nothing more than a few floating platforms and a couple of enemies. When it comes to the enemies, you have a variety of foot soldiers to contend with, including some larger character models, which are often too big to fit through doorways, and of course you have Zidon, the big ugly one who you'll ultimately take down at the end of each level. And while the game's combat system is functional, giving you a couple of different melee weapons to play with, a shield and dodge roll manoeuvre as defensive measures, and a bow which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, depending on whether or not the enemy hitboxes have been configured, overall combat is incredibly simple and incredibly dull. All in all though, Soulsland is definitely an example of style over substance. Its combat is barely functional and is hardly worth engaging in once you discover that you can usually avoid it entirely and just run directly to each level's endpoint. The game's soul system is completely meaningless and serves no purpose whatsoever, and the frame rate is so bad in some levels that you'll just want to quit out of them and move on to the next one. But of all the games in this bundle, Soulsland is undoubtedly the worst of them. So that's your lot here, that's what you're getting for your money with the Tero Lunkka Bundle, and I'd say that on their own, LawnMower Mortal Race and Gangsta Magic might be worth picking up if you happen to spot them in a sale. But so far as paying 13 quid or about $15 once this bundle releases in the US, unless you can also get it with a 90% discount, I'd say save your money and buy them separately, even if only to support this solo developer in his future endeavours. That though is about it for this one, so be sure to drop a like to support the channel and subscribe for more Nintendo Switch content. But for now, thanks to the patrons of the channel for their ongoing support, and to you the viewers for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.